Good evening and welcome. You're watching the Newshour agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. In almost 12 hours from now, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be putting out the financial blueprint to take the world's fastest growing economy to newer heights in the year ahead. Addressing the media before the budget session, the Prime Minister said that NDA's economic roadmap will not only strive to fulfill its people's aspirations but also boost hopes with which the world is looking at India. In fact, he exhorted all parliamentarians to put India and its citizens first. He also called on the opposition to participate in constructive dialogue, to have takreer and not just takrar. They can articulate their points of difference, but at least there should be a dialogue. Also, he highlighted the importance of Droupadi Murmu addressing her very first joint sitting of Parliament, which deserves a quiet audience.
केंद्र बिंदु में भी एक ही विचार रहा है, इंडिया फर्स्ट, सिटीजन फर्स्ट। सबसे पहले देश, सबसे पहले देशवासी। ये बजट सत्र में भी तकरार भी रहेगी, लेकिन तकरीर भी तो होनी चाहिए। और मुझे विश्वास है कि हमारे विपक्ष के सभी साथी बड़ी तैयारी के साथ बहुत बारीकी से अध्ययन करके सदन में अपनी बात रखेंगे।
However, in keeping with what has now almost become an unwavering tradition, disruption started even before the session could. Here is what happened. As per tradition, at the start of all important joint sitting, President Droupadi Murmu was to deliver her maiden address to Parliament. But two opposition parties, the BRS and the AAP party, decided to boycott the presidential address altogether. There were other Congress members also who said that the president was nothing more than a mouthpiece for the government and wasn't really speaking her mind.
On every front, the country is in a crisis. If you look at rising prices, if you look at the prices of fuel, if you look at the prices of everyday goods, rising unemployment, the youth of this country are not getting any jobs. This is not the reality that gets reflected in the speech. The speech is all about promises and all about statements that are not fulfilled in reality, and this is the reason why Aam Aadmi Party has boycotted the opening speech of the Parliament session.
There has to be some kind of democratic voice raised on the issues. We focus on the speeches and the issues that are missing so that the government addresses them. We are saying that the government has failed on all fronts of governance.
Accused of making the president parrot its agenda, the BJP said that the arguments of the boycott brigade are nothing more than hypocritical.
A very historic day when the first ever distinguished tribal president of India, Droupadi Murmu ji, was giving her maiden address while inaugurating the budget session. Some people took it to the greatest low of our parliamentary democracy, namely Aam Aadmi Party and TRS, who chose to boycott. ये आपने बहिष्कार किया क्यों? ये आपने देश के राष्ट्रपति के मर्यादा का अपमान किया है। और कुछ लोग जो बार बार कह रहे हैं कि इसमें सरकार की उपलब्धियों की क्यों चर्चा होती है, तो जो लोग विपक्ष के नेताओं की सरकार है, पार्टियों की सरकार है, जो थोड़ी बहुत है, वहां क्या होता है? जब सदन शुरू होता है बजट सत्र, तो वहां अभिभाषण में क्या पढ़ा जाता है? Those who are making grievances, what is the conduct of their government in their respective states? Do they allow opposition to make it some point? I don't want to take this debate to another level. I understand in many cases, because of intervention of the High Court, the governor was given the opportunity to address the House for the budget session.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1, on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining me on the debate, Ravi Srivastava and Akash Muni, both political analysts, Rabula Sridhar Reddy, senior leader of the TRS, Tushar Gupta, senior editor Swaraj. But my first question is to national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Syed Zafar Islam. The opposition now basically saying Dr. Syed Zafar Islam is like, aap unko bolne to dete hain nahi. So they might as well not be sitting there at all. What's the point?
Well, honestly, if you just scan and do a back testing of last few sessions, you will realize that all these people who are making this kind of allegations are baseless. It is them who do not want that session to continue, the House to continue. They are the one who disrupt the Parliament. They are the one who wants to be seen on the television that they are disrupting the Parliament. They come with a hoarding. They come with a lot of whistles and many other instruments only to make noise there. And they disrupt the Parliament time and again. We have always demonstrated that we are the one who are keen to discuss every issue they want to discuss. In the Business Advisory Committee, every time it is being discussed, they agreed, there is a meeting of minds, yes, we will discuss all these issues, and once we want to discuss that issue, they want to disrupt the Parliament, they don't let the Parliament function. So it is for them to introspect why they do not want to discuss the issues which they want to discuss, why they are just resorting to disrupt the Parliament only to be seen on the news channel and the newspaper that they are the one who is disrupting the Parliament, because they expect the parliamentarians and particularly the opposition parties to behave in a manner that they should be behaving, but unfortunately
Mr. Reddy, when in the all-party meeting, the Business Advisory Committee, there is a meeting of minds. The government says you have 4 or 5 major issues. We are ready to have a dialogue on them. Then why the boycott? What is achieved? Mr. Reddy.
See, we are not, as they were saying, we are not against the president. We have boycotted the session only as a mark of protest, as a democratic protest against the failures of the Narendra Modi's government. And we have seen many speeches in the past also. Nothing become a reality. And the speech which contained, of the president's speech today, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Vishwas, it become a mere slogan, a beautiful slogan, and did nothing become a reality in this. And at the same time, they are saying about we have, insulted the president, or, it is not respecting the president. I wanted to remind you, Honorable President has visited Hyderabad in the recent past, and our government gave a grand welcome. It is not the question of disrespecting the chair of the president. It is against the Narendra Modi government's failure. And today's speech, whatever the speech contents you have seen, is exactly the government is functioning opposite to that. As I said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas.
Okay.
As I said, the employment issues. And we talk about the selective favoritism to some states and not supporting non-BJP ruled states, and especially when it comes to Telangana, and whatever promises were made during the bifurcation to Telangana, nothing was honored. Neither Niti Aayog recommendations, nor the recommendations of the Finance Commission, and you don't give us any support, and you stall the funds to our state. So why would we support? At the same time, we
Sayyid Zafar Islam, why are you spinning a democratic protest as an insult to the president? You're trying to give it a political spin. All that these opposition parties are doing, they're exercising democratic right.
Absolutely. See, here I made it very categorically.
It is a very irresponsible statement coming from a...
Yes, Sayyid Zafar Islam.
It is a very, very irresponsible statement coming from a... No, I'm saying that it is a very irresponsible statement coming from a representative of a political party. You know that she comes from a tribal background. She is the one, she is a woman.
Why do you
her maiden speech, even the tradition and the protocol, what is being followed. Please do not interrupt me. Please do not interrupt me. Let me complete, then you can have your own.
This is not fair, my dear.
In the parliament, there is a protocol. Whoever is making the maiden speech, they are not interrupted. They are being given opportunity to speak. I was also had been the member of parliament. I have spoken for 30 minutes as my maiden speech.
Your
and yet nobody interrupted me. Please, can you keep your mouth shut, please, for a moment? You are just making this kind of a statement only to look. We have done everything, but what have you done? You have to introspect. You have disrespected the honorable president of our great country. You know that it is a sin you have committed and your party has committed, and you will be punished by the people of this great country. You must understand that. There is a quorum, there is a protocol that when the president makes a speech, every single parliamentarian attends the session. But you not only boycotted it, you also made a statement outside the parliament, which was totally unwarranted. And that only suggests that you people
Okay, one at a time, please. One at a time. Sir, I'll give you time. I'll give you time, Mr. Reddy, to respond. Okay. I'll give you time to respond. Finish your point. Yes, Syed Zafar Islam.
Can you just tell me, Mr. Reddy, that yeah. So all I'm
It's even political.
No, at end of the day, that speech, what was delivered by Honorable President, reflects the government's agenda. And Modi government...
But that will be true for you also, sir, in Telangana. People will say that of you in Telangana also, that the speech that you give the governor, then it's going to be called government agenda and other parties are going to walk out.
Whatever they promised in the past to the country, whether Pakka houses to the poor and employment, and everything's a big failure.
Oh my God.
The inflation, the unemployment rate. And today,
Can I just
talk about,
respond?
you talk about scams, there are no scams. A government which is not ready to even give the account of PM cares,
Okay.
speaking about having no scams.
Okay, let me open this up.
What
Tushar
I'm trying to
Gupta
tell you,
is
it's a
nothing
democratic
sacrosanct
protest,
anymore,
not
and
condemning
is the dialogue between the opposition and the government at the center broken beyond repair. This is a given. If you just take a look at maybe the last 6-7 sessions, barely is there a session when there isn't a walkout, disruption, throwing of papers, etc. It's at a point of no return.
Good evening, Padmaja. Padmaja, I think the debate started with someone saying that the party staged a walkout because they're not allowed to speak in the parliament. Now, last I checked, the Aam Aadmi Party had no MPs in the Lok Sabha. They have absolutely no MPs in the Lok Sabha, a big zero. So who is not allowed to speak? And as far as I can remember right, Raghav Chadda made a very immature comment last year in the Rajya Sabha. And the Finance Minister of India was courteous enough to answer him point by point, to explain him economics as if you would to a kindergarten kid, point by point. So I don't understand where this theory about the parliamentarians not being allowed to speak comes from. Number two, forget the president also for a second, Padmaja. These 2 days were about the budget. This was not about the budget of the BJP ruled states. This was not about the budget of the people who vote for Narendra Modi. This was the budget of India. Now they could have walked out of the session on 2nd February, no one would have cared. But today when the economic survey was stable, which is a primer on the economy, and there are AAP and BRS spokespersons shouting from the top of the roof that the government has done absolutely nothing on the economic front. Today was their day, or tomorrow would have been their day, to ask some tough questions in the media, but they should have been in the session. Why not? Why not be a part of the budget that's for people of India, including the people that are under the states governed by Aam Aadmi Party and the states governed by BRS? Why not?
Padmaja today.
Okay, talk on facts, yes, Akash Muni.
Yeah, there was a multi-party meeting of all the parties.
Okay, hold on a second. Let Akash Muni come back with his first rebuttal. Then you can make your second point, Tushar. First rebuttal, Akash Muni. Yes.
Let me complete. You know, Tusharji, recently there was a multi-party meeting, all-party meeting. There, the member of parliament from for Aam Aadmi Party raised, Sanjay ji raised a particular issue which has been in news recently regarding the Adani controversy. He said that this type of issue can affect our public sector units like LIC and SBI, which will be in effect, affecting the common man. What he said is that there should be a discussion in the parliament regarding that. The government did not answer that will they have a discussion or not have a discussion. Which, then he said that let's conduct a JPC, Joint Parliamentary Committee. Then the government did not reply on that even. So when in a democratic setup, what the opposition has the right, the opposition has the option rather than to walk out or boycott. And the first point. Second point, just imagine that boycotting is very bad thing. Okay, BJP boycotted in 2013 the whole parliament session. They boycott speaker session. They boycott the meetings called by the Parliamentary Affairs Committee. In 2010, they boycotted even the Prime Minister call for a discussion. Interestingly, and coming on to the main point that why actually...
Well, you boycott the session, but this was the President's address and this is more a custom than the government's business. The President's address is not the government's business. This is basically a nicety.
No. The President's address is given to her by the cabinet, and at present the cabinet is headed by the Prime Minister.
Okay, Tushar Gupta responding. Yes. I have to say before Tushar Gupta responds, sitting in the opposition at the center, Akash Muni, the Aam Aadmi Party says, hold on Tushar Gupta, the Aam Aadmi Party says, oh, the opposition is being muzzled. However, you have conveniently forgotten that just last month, during the Delhi Assembly session, when all the BJP MLAs were marshalled out, what did the speaker say? The speaker said the LG doesn't allow Aam Aadmi Party to speak, so you cannot fault me for not allowing the BJP MLAs to speak. This is what the speaker said. But anyway, democracy, freedom of speech is all very subjective depending on where you sit, treasury benches or the opposition benches. Anyhow, go on. Let's limit ourselves to Parliament. Tushar Gupta, yes.
Padmaja, firstly, the Aam Aadmi Party should stop calling itself the opposition. They have 0 MPs in the Lok Sabha. Let me remind that to your viewers. Number 2, they want to discuss the Adani business factor. What do they want to discuss with the Joint Parliamentary Committee? There is no provable scam here, so there is no question of a Joint Parliamentary Committee. Number 2, they say they want to discuss the Hindenburg report. The FPO has been oversubscribed today. The company has come out with a 400-page report as a rebuttal, so there is nothing to discuss. And number 3, on a day as important as the budget, why would the Aam Aadmi Party want to take the focus away from the budget of the people of India to a private business? Do they want the government in the center to interfere in private businesses? Is that their ideology? My simple question, Padmaja, is that today was the budget of India. The Aam Aadmi Party can have all the disagreements with the BJP, but they should have sit in the parliament. They should have remained in the parliament for the sake of people in Punjab, for the sake of the people in Delhi, the very people they govern as the state government. Why did they not remain in the parliament?
Okay, Ravi Srivastava, if there is any indication, it came from the Prime Minister himself when he said right at the beginning कि तकरार की जगह तकरीर भी होने चाहिए. Yesterday, again in the all-party meeting, when you had the Minister, Parliamentary Affairs Minister come out and speak, he said that there were 3-4 issues which were raised. The government is ready for a discussion on all of them. But again, I come back to the point that today was not even about having a discussion. Today was not about talking about Adani or BBC or China. Today, very simply, was about the President's speech which precedes the budget. That's it. That is all that it was limited to. And more specifically, the historical importance which the Prime Minister underlined, that we have our first tribal community's lady president making her maiden address. Simple decency provides that you sit there and listen to it. Why not?
That's your definition of decency. The first thing is that the word being used, takreer, is a wrong translation altogether. If Prime Minister has used this word, it's a wrong word. Takreer means a speech, bhashan. It is not dialogue. I don't know who has translated that. Second thing is that you are talking about a tribal lady. Why should always be this jati should be discussed of the president? She is an honorable president and she is a woman. I think that's more than enough. Why to discuss about she is a tribal? We have done this. We have brought her as a president. She is a tribal.
Sir, I think that ship sailed the day everyone decided to smash Brahminical patriarchy. But let's limit ourselves. Let's limit ourselves. Okay, even if it's not a tribal president, she is the president making a speech. It is not about, highlighting the government's failures or what the government is doing. Listen to the president, listen to the budget, and then put the government on the mat.
Thousands and lakhs of tribal women are selling the vegetable, and with their meager earnings, which they are depositing in savings bank of their State Bank of India or LIC for that matter, which are in danger.
Sir, where is this roundabout argument that you have come from? Okay, hold on a second, please. Please, let's have a more reasonable debate. I don't know where you've taken this. It all boils down to, let me bring back Akash Muni, because earlier we were talking about the Aam Aadmi Party and the BRS. Okay, Syed Zafar Islam responding. Syed Zafar Islam, yes.
I do not understand what is the reservation he has. It is not a fact that we are narrating to the people of this great country that she comes from a tribal background. And historically, if we just
why is it needed every day? Is it needed every day?
In India, never ever never ever been.
Sir,
Any
please,
tribal,
one at a time.
Anybody coming from the tribal background have been. Anybody who is coming from tribal background have been given, have been put in position of strength. Never. It is our party, it is our government, it is our Honourable Prime Minister's thought process that we must give opportunity to everyone. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and that process we have followed to the T. That's why we have given representation and also made President purely because she comes from a background, tribal background, which have never been given this kind of position and representation.
And Akash Muni also, there is the examples of the past being given. Because I mentioned the Delhi Assembly, you would remember there was the Chief Minister who said, "Kaun hai ye LG? Kahan se aa gaya ye LG? Hamare sir par baith ke aa gaya LG?" And now the President.
10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. There's Zafar Islam. 10 seconds, and I'll come to Akash Muni. 10 seconds. Finish your point. Yes.
Also, somebody was talking about that we have disrupted the parliament, we have not boycotted the parliament. Yes, that is your right, you can do it.
We should just dismantle the entire constitutional structure, sir. Then the same thing will be said of your government in Punjab. It will be said of the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab, the BRS government in Telangana, the YSRCP government in Andhra Pradesh, the DMK government in Tamil Nadu.
I'll answer. Zafar Islam ji, first of all, I come from the same tribal state from where our Honourable President comes. So at least you will acknowledge my request of initiating a JPC if possible, or at least a charcha on the floor of Parliament on the issue of Adani. I hope it will be happening. This is from Akash Muni, from a proud Odia, from a tribal state from where President Murmu belongs. And second thing, our Padmaja ji, you were asking that then we should dismantle everything, we have no problem with, we respect the President like anything. Because the problem is that there has been a controversy on which a member of Parliament in an all-party meeting requested a charcha on the floor of Parliament. Till now, I really revere our Prime Minister who says that चर्चा होनी चाहिए, चर्चा कराइए ये पर्टिकुलर इशू पे हम सारे मीटिंग्स अटेंड करेंगे. एक जेपीसी अपॉइंट करा दीजिए, नहीं करा पाए चर्चा ही करा दीजिए.
ओके, तुषार गुप्ता
करा देंगे.
तुषार गुप्ता.
Padmaja, one point. I'm sensing the Aam Aadmi Party's understanding of the constitution is as good as their understanding of the economy. But I have a simple question to ask of the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, since he's so concerned about the whole Adani fiasco. Tell me the exposure of LIC to Adani.
Okay, wait. Before you get started on that, both of you are there. You want to have a charcha. I don't know about Syed Zafar Islam, but I am very willing to have a charcha, and that's exactly what we are headed towards next. Today, of course, there was another tradition, parliamentary tradition, that was broken. Whether it was in the interest of a democratic protest or goes against the democratic traditions of our country, I leave that to your wisdom. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining me on Debate 1.